Meanwhile, the Red Cross has deployed hundreds to help with Hurricane Irma as it continues to in its efforts to provide some relief in Texas.
Joining us now is Red Cross spokesperson Rob Baltodano. He's joining us when I'm sure it's a busy time for you. Rob, the Red Cross is responding to the devastation in the Caribbean while preparing for Hurricane Irma to potentially hit Florida, as well as the continued relief efforts in Houston after Hurricane Harvey. You guys are really busy. How are you dealing with multiple disasters at the same time?
Well, that is what we plan for. On a daily basis, our volunteers and partners prepare for this. And so we have a robust base of volunteers, although we're always in need of volunteers, who pre-positioned both assets, material and human, to be able to respond to this. These are plans that we go through, and they're coming to realization. And so here in Florida, we have the ability, or across the eastern seaboard, rather, to provide a shelter to up to 120,000 people. In Miami-Dade County, we have 13 shelters, and there's going to be more opening up. And I want to make sure that we send a message out to our community that we are here to help, and they should come and obey those evacuation orders and come to a shelter.
Rob, understanding that you're in the midst of coordinating relief efforts for two major disasters in the United States, there has been, as you know, some criticism about how the Red Cross spends some of its dollars. I know you're familiar, obviously, with the investigative reports that have been done by ProPublica and NPR. I myself did some extensive reporting on your fundraising in Haiti. So let's talk some specifics here. And I don't know if you're able to answer questions about Harvey because you're focusing right now on Irma. But if you can, how much money did you raise to help the victims of Hurricane Harvey?
I can't speak for that. As you said, we're concentrating on the effort here in South Florida specifically. Our main concern right now, as the governor said, is the safety of those individuals that are in the path of the storm. So I don't have those numbers with me now, but we'll be happy to go ahead and make them public once they become available. Okay, so if for people who want to donate to the Red Cross in anticipation of what will happen or what could potentially happen with Hurricane Irma, how much of their dollar, in other words, a dollar given to the Red Cross, how much of that is going to help the victims of Hurricane Irma, should there be any? 91 cents. 91 cents of every dollar goes to the hands that needs them, and it goes in ways for sheltering, for food, for transporting those volunteers and making sure that they are available to give the help and the hope that people need it when needed most, as it is the case in Florida right now.
You know, Vlad, you were talking about the fundraising, and the Red Cross does do a tremendous amount of fundraising when there is a disaster. I think what needs to be sort of expressed is to clarify the agenda of the Red Cross. You swoop in right after or right before a disaster to offer relief immediately.
It is our mission. Right. It is our mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering. We do so thanks to the power of volunteers and the generosity of the American public. And so we owe it to both our volunteers and our donors to make sure that those dollars they give are spent wisely and they make it to the hands that needs it most. I am living proof of that. 1992, Hurricane Andrew, when he came through South Florida, had it not been for the Red Cross, my family would have gone through a tough time for 17 days. I am paying back to my community today, and it is thanks to the donations that people give to the Red Cross.
Rob, that is very moving. So you know firsthand the sort of destruction that a hurricane of this magnitude can bring to the city. Just to clarify, it's about helping people immediately. It's not about rebuilding over the long term. That's where the money is going to be spent. It's going to be spent on shelter, food, the immediate needs of people who have found their lives turned upside down because of this hurricane.
We work continuously throughout the year to prepare our communities, get a kit, make a plan, be informed. And that is for when times like this come into place, they're able to sustain themselves for those 3 days to make sure that volunteers come out thereafter to provide those immediate needs that you spoke about, starting with sheltering prior to the storm, and then continuing to sustain that sheltering for as long as needed. And that is our commitment to both our donors and the community. We are there for as long as needed, thanks to you.
Rob, you also mentioned that you yourself were a victim of Hurricane Andrew, and it's important to remember that some of the volunteers that you have there will have family in harm's way. What are they doing, and how do they balance the need to help and to help some of the victims with the needs of their own families and in some cases themselves?
Part of the commitment we have as volunteers is actually to prepare our home. As we preach preparedness, that is something that we do on a daily basis. I have my family with me. my family will ride the storm, if you will, at the same location that I'm in, which is a safe location. By the same token, volunteers have taken the time to make sure they prepare their home, so then they're able to come out and help their community. It is something that is engraved in our DNA, if you will, in terms of being Red Crossers.
Well, Rob, like I said, you know firsthand how difficult it can be to live through a hurricane like this. It's admirable that you're now volunteering your time with the Red Cross, considering you have, I'm sure, your own family that you're worried about. Rob Baltodano from the Red Cross, thank you so much.
Thank you.